Have you ever wondered what actually happens after you ask someone for a letter of recommendation? You know, it can be the one thing that pushes your application over the top. But for most of us, it's a total black box. Well, today, we're going to pry that box wide open and figure out what makes a letter good versus what makes one truly great.
Right? It's a huge question. Is it about using big, fancy words? Or maybe it's just about who writes it? You know, someone with a big title? Or is there something else going on? Something deeper? That's exactly what we're about to get into.
So forget all the theory for a second. The absolute best way to understand what makes a recommendation really land is to see one in action. We've got a fantastic real-world example that we're going to dissect piece by piece to see exactly what makes it so convincing.
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? This isn't just some administrative task to check off a list. A truly great recommendation tells a story. It turns your resume, which is just a list of facts, into a narrative about who you are and the value you bring. And that story can open doors you didn't even know existed.
Okay, let's dive in. Our case study for today is a letter written for a pretty high-level tech professional. Let's pull it up and take a look.
At first glance, it looks like a pretty standard letter, right? But trust me, hidden in this single page is a masterclass on how to endorse someone effectively. We're about to break down exactly why this document is so powerful.
Okay, so before we even read a single word of the letter itself, just look at who's involved here. We have a recommendation coming from someone at Google for a professional who's connected to both Google and Amazon. That's a serious punch of credibility from major institutions right off the bat. The context alone is powerful.
All right, now for the fun part. Let's get into the actual words on the page. What are the specific phrases and choices that make this letter so incredibly persuasive?
Boom! Right from the very first sentence, the tone is immediately set. There's no waffling, no cautious phrasing. It's just a direct, powerful, and super confident statement of support. And this is just a brilliant move. A great recommendation doesn't build up to the point. It leads with it. That phrase, without reservation, is so key. It tells the reader right away, pay attention, this is going to be an absolutely glowing review. Now check out this next little detail. The writer doesn't just say Dr. Saxena has been doing this for a long time. Nope, they give a very specific starting point, 2011. And this is just so important. Saying someone is experienced is nice, but it's vague. Saying they've been consistently contributing for over a decade, that's not praise anymore. That's credible, hard evidence. It turns a compliment into a verifiable fact.
Okay, now this part is really interesting. You might have spotted a couple of typos in the original letter, but you know what? It almost doesn't matter because the substance is just so strong. The author zeroes in on two critical skills, her dedication and, this is a big one, her knack for communicating complicated ideas.
This is that classic rule, show, don't tell. Instead of just saying she's smart, the letter tells us how she's smart by making complex topics easy to understand. That paints a way clearer and frankly a much more impressive picture for anyone reading this.
So we've looked at the structure, the bones of the letter. Now let's really focus on the specific word choices that were used to highlight Dr. Saxena's strengths and, really make this letter sing.
When you boil it all down, this is the professional profile you get. And notice, it's not just one thing. It's a combination of her content, her tech expertise, her communication skills, her global perspective. It creates this picture of a really well-rounded, high-impact person.
And look at how it ends. The writer brings it all full circle, hitting us again with that incredibly potent phrase from the beginning, without reservation. This isn't just lazy repetition. It's a deliberate choice. It's like putting powerful bookends on the entire letter. By starting and ending with such a clear, strong statement, the writer creates this perfect, sealed argument. It just leaves the reader with absolutely zero doubt about how strongly they believe in this candidate. It's a total mic drop.
So the big question is, how do you take all this and actually use it? Well, let's distill everything we've just learned into a simple, 4-step blueprint that you can use, whether you're asking for a recommendation or writing one.
Honestly, it really just comes down to these 4 things. Number 1, you got to start strong, with immediate authority. 2, you have to back it up with concrete evidence, not just fluffy praise. 3, the language needs to be specific and powerful about what you can do. And finally, number 4, you've got to end with that same unwavering conviction you started with. That's the formula right there.
At the end of the day, a letter of recommendation is a chapter in your professional story, but it's one that someone else gets to write.
So, after seeing what makes a letter truly powerful, maybe the most important question to ask yourself is this: who are you going to trust to help tell your story?